Many years ago, I had a mayor that told me that they knew what was best for the citizens. And that always bothered me because that's not the way I always understood the system worked. The system is supposed to work, in my mind, where you have public input, you have discussion from the public, you have discussion on the dais, and then from that, you get the best information available to make a better community.
For the past 52 years, Bud Lewis has served Carlsbad, first as a high school teacher and football coach, then as a council member for 16 years, and mayor for 24. During that time, he's seen a lot of changes in the community.
When I compare Carlsbad of the 1970s to Carlsbad today, there's a huge difference. Number one, we had no money. Number two, we had no growth management plan. Number three, the water conditions were just becoming stabilized because we had passed a water bond back in the 60s to bring in the Colorado River water to us.
He served on 22 councils, working with different styles and a variety of viewpoints, always seeking what was best for Carlsbad.
It's a teamwork operation. If you don't have teamwork, you're in deep, deep trouble. Surround yourself with very bright individuals that have concerns about your community. I have probably about an 18-person, I call kitchen cabinet, that I go to help me resolve problems. I'm not that smart, and so I've got to have a lot of help. I took their advice, I listened on the dais, I listened to what my council persons had to say on the dais to help me form my opinions, because every vote that's taken today will affect the future.
His personal experiences growing up after the Great Depression shaped much of his fiscally conservative philosophy.
You pay as you go. If you can't afford to pay for it, then don't buy it. And that's the way I feel about the city. Dove Library is a good example. We could afford to build Dove Library. We had money set aside, but we could not afford maintenance and staffing. So we held off the Dove Library for several years. But to spend your reserves, I think you get in deep trouble in the long run.
Under his leadership, the growth management plan became a reality.
If we had not had a growth management plan and developers were not required to meet the standards that we have set up for them today, it would be a haphazard type of development. I remember before we had the growth management plan how upset the citizens were, and the fact that developers are coming in, building homes and not making major contributions to the community. We'd have to be totally responsible for all the park and library, school expansion, the whole bit. And the people are very upset about the number of units being built here. And so they wanted some type of control over it. So you have to have standards to make things work, and that's what we've established. If you meet these standards, you can build in Carlsbad. If you don't, then go elsewhere. It's that simple. Luckily, the citizens brought in the growth management plan that provided for facilities. And with that, it was a home run for Carlsbad.
Mayor Lewis has worked for more than a decade to ensure a clean, reliable water supply from a variety of sources.
Water creates jobs. Without water, you're not going to get the industries coming into Carlsbad. All of the biotech, they need good, clean water. And you've got to have water available for them. Hopefully within 10 years, we'll almost be self-sufficient in the San Diego region.
And focused economic development has allowed Carlsbad to prosper and to weather challenging times.
When you look at the cities that have been very successful, they are the ones that have gone out and pursued the high-tech industries, special industries like the golf industry, hoteliers, and Carlsbad is no different. It wasn't just by chance that this came about. It's because the council greatly encouraged staff to go out and proceed in acquiring different industries if we could, the different corporations, what have you. It brought in good, clean jobs. It brought in a lot of folks that made a lot of money, and they spent their money here in Carlsbad.
The steady growth of tourism also added to the local economy.
We went after Legoland very aggressively because we felt that would be a great asset for Carlsbad, and it has been. Tourism has been a blessing to Carlsbad. It's good, clean money. They come here, they enjoy themselves, they spend their money, bless them, and then they go home. For that, I am grateful.
The mayor has learned a thing or two during his time in office and offers this advice to those who follow.
Some of the lessons that I've learned: number one, keep your mouth shut and listen. That's the first thing. The second thing is take as much public input as you can. The citizens will always have input, and I think we try to make Carlsbad as transparent as possible so the public understands fully what's going on. It takes a total teamwork effort to make Carlsbad a place that you want to live in, and that's what we've done. Meeting adjourned.
And Mayor Lewis's final thoughts?
Folks, I want to thank you for letting me be on your council the last 40 years. The fact that you've elected me on many different occasions to do that job, the support you've given me. I really appreciate the participation the citizens had in helping me make my decisions as to what's best for Carlsbad. I've had a lot of fun. It's been very enjoyable. I've met some great people, and Carlsbad is what it is because of the citizenry and you folks. Thank you.